So I've had a tidy up in the garage and made some space, as you can see. It's time to start pulling the Zafira apart. I'm going to start today on the inside, see how much I can get apart without having to be outside the car because it's raining and I don't want to get wet. So I'm going to stick the camera on one of the windows and run a time lapse taking some of the interior apart. I think that got a bit boring, didn't it? So I started stripping the Zafira down to get the wiring loom out. I made a list on my whiteboard, I'll show you in a little bit, of the bits and pieces that I want from the Zafira. Big one was the wiring loom, another big one's engine and gearbox, and then there's a load of other little bits and pieces: mobiliser unit, the exhaust, the drive shafts, engine mounts. There's a number of bits. I've put a list on the board there, which we'll talk about in a bit. So to start with, I'll start stripping out the interior of the Zafira, which I've got some video to show you, but I haven't got any video to show you of a great deal else to do with the Zafira. So what I do have though, since that last bit of footage, is this little bit of time lapse of me taking some brackets and bits off the engine, which is now sat on the floor next to me. I had every intention of doing some video whilst taking the engine out of the car, but it was freezing cold and I just wanted to get on with it. So I've got the engine out of the car, got it, a few bits and pieces off it. I'll show it in just a second, and I can start to do a little bit more with it. So this is the engine. I made a mistake in the first video that I mentioned doing this. It's not an X16XE. It's a Z16XE, which is a little bit later engine, but still very similar in terms of what it is. It's a 1.6 16 valve, produces around 100 horsepower, which will be more than adequate for a Mini with a 5-speed gearbox. ECU lives under the bonnet there. So I've got that out of the car. There's a load of bits and pieces I've taken off. This is the original inlet manifold, which is rather a monster, alternating to their mounts, and I've intended to keep the original mounts because I kind of think if I could build something off the side to sit that on. So this is the subframe. It's going to be a donor subframe. It's a mini auto subframe. What I just showed you with that mount is I'm wondering if I can build something up off the side there for the mount to mount on the top. Same over this side, and then the gearbox mount. Obviously I have to cut out a bit either side to fit, but that's going to be the donor subframe that I'm going to chop up and muck about with to put that on. So the next video is going to be starting the wiring loom, which I've already started over there. Then after that I'm going to start, if you're not interested in wiring, skip the next one next week. After that I'm going to start looking at how I can mount the engine into the subframe, which I can't do just yet because I need some steel. I've got some steel, it's in my lockup, but my Volvo's run out of MOT, so I can't go and fetch it yet. So once I get that MOT'd on Friday, which is the day this video comes out, I'll be able to go and get the steel and start mocking up how the engine's going to sit, start chopping that subframe about, and we'll see where we go from there. So that's all for this one, just a pretty short update, and I'll see you again next week for a bit of wiring.
It's not a game, it's a rich thing.